Before we get underway, I want to make a quick introduction. I am really thrilled to be joined by a cohort in the industry. So Stefan Baer from S&S Activewear, who's going to take the second half of today's webinar and bring his expertise as it relates to how to think about product, the product mix, how to present products. So really excited to be joined by an industry leader to help bring some context and some examples and insights as it relates to the way to think about products as part of these corporate gift-giving programs. All right, the last bit of housekeeping. Today's webinar is in fact being recorded. And so we will make this recording available following today's webinar. So if you have a business partner or colleague or employees you'd like to share this content with, it will certainly be made available. All right, well, let's go ahead and get underway. So again, my name is JP Hunt with InkSoft. I'm a co-founder here, and I'm really thrilled to present on a topic that I think is super important and will help drive big revenue from now until year end. So what we'll be talking about today, doing a deep dive into the massive sales opportunity that is available in corporate gift-giving programs. Now, this isn't new. Corporate gift-giving programs have been in our industry for ages. However, corporate gift-giving has never been more relevant given the impacts that companies have had given COVID. So there's some new perspective and new methodologies that we're going to be sharing with you today. So let's kind of talk about the agenda before we get underway. The first thing we're going to talk about is the sales targets that are available through corporate gift-giving programs. And of course, to be effective marketers, we must know our audience well. We'll bring some product perspective on knowing your audience and making sure you're lining up the appropriate products to curate and suggest and bring forward to your clients. Next, I'm going to be breaking down the 10 corporate gift-giving sales campaign tips, the real meaty, important things you need to be considerate of as you go to market with your gift-giving programs. We'll also be talking about how to execute on these gift-giving programs through online stores. Online stores are likely the only way to really execute on these programs given the impacts COVID has had on so many retail businesses and organizations. They're working remote. Online stores are the absolute best way to handle order fulfillment and deliver and execute on these programs. So I'll bring some perspective as it relates to the transaction side of the sales strategy. And then I'll be handing it over to my cohort from S&S Activewear to talk about all the things related to product consideration. So really excited for those perspectives. All right, so let's get into the bottom line up front. Of course, we're always going to start with the most essential information straight away. So bottom line up front with corporate gift-giving programs informs us that if you execute corporate gift-giving programs the right way, meaning you go to market with the right product story, the right product mix, and you do so with online stores, you are going to crush sales opportunities. So as mentioned, online stores and corporate gift-giving programs are more relevant now than ever because so many employees are working remote, and there's some new categories of products that are super relevant right now, like home fitness, health and wellness, home comfort. So again, given today's current climates, where there's challenges, there's also opportunity. So with that said, let's talk about the things to contemplate as it relates to who are the recipients of these corporate gift-giving programs. So it's important we obviously understand, the audience here, right? So of course, the first and probably the most likely or commonsensical, recipient of corporate gift-giving programs is employees. So many companies and organizations like to do a year-end, team or employee gift. And oftentimes that gift is going to be branded to help leverage, the mission, the vision, the corporate identity. So there's a lot of context there, right? Any company can do a gift, but when it's a branded gift, it's special, right? It looks like it's thoughtful and meaningful. And there's a lot of things to consider there, which we'll get in as we break out the 10 tips to contemplate with these sales programs. So of course, employees are the most logical recipient of gift-giving programs. Of course, the other sales target is customers. So think about so many companies want to do a thank you gift or some way to maybe recognize maybe top customers. And it's from a marketing perspective, companies oftentimes want to build deeper and more meaningful relationships with customers. And what better way to do that than recognizing the value and thanking them for their patronage, right? So the third consideration here is partners and vendors. So many businesses rely on a network of partners and vendors, people that help support their business And oftentimes they like to recognize those relationships through year-end gifts. So I would say these are the three primary buckets to consider as it relates to those gift-giving targets, right? So with that said and that established, let's go into, I want to spend a majority of my time before I turn it over. I want to talk about the 10 corporate gift-giving sales campaign tips. There's a lot to think about and a lot of minutia here that I want to dig into. So the first consideration is we must be proactive. And I would suggest that I think the most sort of common view on when to get started with these programs is following Labor Day. So with that said, now is a critical time to really roll up your sleeves and go to market strong with your corporate gift giving, sales capabilities and really educating companies in your area about your expertise and capabilities. And I'm going to give you, as I conclude my PowerPoint, I'm going to show you how you can use InkSoft proposals to actually put ideas in front of clients. So it begins with educating your customers about the options and ideas that you can present. So you're presenting solutions and ideas, and you're being thoughtful in that approach. Now, of course, we don't want to labor or delay and wait for the holiday rush to approach. So companies are making decisions now about their gift-giving budget, gift-giving approach. So now is a critical time to go to market. So no delays. Now, the other contemplation is by getting things rolling now, you can avoid any threats of shipping delays or transit delays, given the rush that will happen from already overwhelmed shipping vendors, right? So that said, now is a time to get in motion with commitment, of course, production and shipping to be well ahead of the threat of missed timelines. Now, the next consideration that you ought to be thinking about with these programs is how can you monetize the entire and the complete experience? So we've spent a lot of time, and I'll show you where to get this, but we've spent a lot of time talking about order fulfillment as a service. And given the impacts COVID has had, no company is interested in distributing gifts right now, or inventory and stocking and kitting and packaging. They don't have the capabilities right now to even think about that. So with that said, by offering a complete turnkey experience, including things like gift wrapping, kitting, and packaging all of these unique products together into a gift, you can then charge for that as a service. You can monetize that as a service, right? And really the best part is you get to up-level your average order value. So think about if you can charge for custom packaging and gift wrapping, and that helps you to develop some new streams of profit, but it helps you to make your numbers look better by jacking up that average order value. That's a very attractive thing that we should all be constantly pursuing. Now, the next contemplation here is making it end-to-end. And I kind of tipped my hat. I mentioned that so many of these organizations aren't really excited about having to deal with extra labor right now, given maybe they've had some turnover, layoffs, they don't have access to their facility. So right now, it's critical to have your clients in a position to say yes by making this a very simple, turnkey, and complete offering. So making it very clear that you're going to handle production, packaging, shipping, delivery. You're going to consult on the product mix that you think would be perfect for their targets that are important to them. So fulfillment here, order fulfillment is a critical service offering. And so you want to make that very clear to your prospects that you can do these corporate gift giving programs end to end. Now, the next consideration is getting inspired by those gift recipients, the audience. So really knowing critically, what's going to bring value, who the gift giving recipient is, what's meaningful to them. So again, if the target is, hey, we want to really recognize our employees who are working from home, being really productive and have gone through this transition positively, and they've continued to be productive, knowing what's important, right? So there's a lot of themes that Stefan will talk about as it relates to home fitness and health and wellness. So again, it's really knowing what's meaningful to the gift-giving recipient so you can present the right product assortment that's going to be a win and that your client's going to be eager to sign off on and commit to. Now, the next consideration here is leveraging product storytelling. So we spent a lot of time this year talking about product marketing, and part of product marketing is effective storytelling, right? Really making clear the value of these products and building up extra value so you don't have to be threatened by, having to reduce pricing, selling from a position of strength. So the reality is, especially with corporate gift giving, your customers aren't really getting, a branded T-shirt or, promotional items. they're getting a token of appreciation or recognition. So with that said, storytelling is even more important with these products. It's not just a simple uniform shirt. There's a theme behind this, which again is a gift. And hey, we're very thankful for your commitment as a vendor, as an employee, as a customer. A handwritten thank you card. Just think the context is much different, right? I would also encourage you to think about, as we mentioned earlier, about the complete experience and end to end. Kitting and packaging is going to add a tremendous amount of value here, right? And it's going to reinforce that product storytelling. So again, there's even services, third-party services that will write handwritten thank you cards or, cards. You can give them a theme or a message, and they'll actually have a team that will actually handwrite those, right? So think about how can you make the gift presentation even more special and add even more value to make sure that that story is in fact being articulated and told. So let's move on now. A point I really want to make that's, I think, probably one of the most important tips here is subtlety is the goal, and you should strive for subtlety. And what we mean here is, this is a gift, right? We're talking about gift giving. So there should be value to the recipient. Really the company or the brand isn't the recipient here. So the reality is, we don't want to be in a context where we create this great program and things end up in the trash or in the landfill. That provides no value to anybody. The company, maybe they reflect on the value of this program and they contemplate whether they're going to do it again next year. So there might be direct feedback, if employees are actually using on Zoom meetings some of the decorated products and they're talking about it. That's going to create perfect context to trap that value same time next year. So think about subtlety in terms of maybe minimizing the size of the corporate branding or imprint, maybe building a theme or consulting the client to think about messaging, think about imprint, maybe a single color imprint as opposed to full color. So the branding should add value to the product. It shouldn't detract, I think, is the good rule of thumb. So again, are we adding value and sophistication to the product, or does it detract? Very simple rule of thumb. Now, another consideration here, and I'm not going to steal thunder from our partner at S&S Activewear, but think brand name. If I'm getting a gift and there's a brand name associated to that gift, that adds a tremendous amount of value. So in the S&S, product catalog and offering, there's brand names like Adidas and Champion and Oakley, Columbia, Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger. There's a lot of brands that are valued and recognized. There's value that's associated with those, brand recognition. So really think about presenting brand name products. It's going to make you look like a hero, right? You have access to these brand name products. There's a lot of subtle value in making that presentation. The other reality that we must consider is being consistent. So think of consistency as if we're building a package or a kit of goods, it's a gift pack, making sure that these products are complementary. And that can be both, there's a theme, there's a product connection, there's a story between the products, there's that relationship, but also imprint and branding. So think about consistency in terms of cohesive. Is this collection of product cohesive? Does it tell a story? And again, think in terms of theme, home life, home comfort, wellness and health, home fitness. So you could think in terms of lifestyle and how these products might be used together, and maybe picture those products in the set of a commercial. How would these gifts interact? Do they look like they are cohesive, or do they stand apart? So there's not a strict definition here, but I just think being thoughtful in terms of styles, colorways, logo placement, imprint, all of those things combined, does it feel right? Does it feel like we're telling a true product story and there's a theme and it's consistent here? Now, the other consideration is offering up complete guides. So if you're going to consult a client, having some collateral, which S&S Activewear has produced, and I'll let that stand. But, again, showing, these themes of products and these sort of, logical collections and presenting that to a client at a high level to then drill down and say, well, of these collections, which collections resonate with customers and the vendors that you want to recognize this year? So it really helps you from a sales perspective, sort of guide and coach and let the client be the decider of what products make sense. And let them make the decision, right, rather than a hard close, right? So again, you think about these guides and these themes to help coach along clients in that decision-making path. And I think the last point I really want to make here that is, I think, most critical is don't look at these corporate gift giving programs as a singular event that only happens at year end every year. And the real contemplation here is if you're working with a client and you're consulting them for gift giving, maybe once they commit to you, ask what are their other branded product needs? What else are you trying to achieve, year end or front of the year in terms of engaging with your vendors, your employees, your customers? So a great example, I'll use InkSoft as an example. Every January, the beginning of January, we do an all hands on deck kickoff meeting. And this is a time where we bring the entire company together to talk about sort of a retrospective of performance last year, to recognize key performers, to celebrate our victories, to review some of the challenges we might have had, but then forecast, hey, this is what our strategy looks like for the new year. These are our goals, the things we want to achieve collectively. And there's always a theme for that, right? We like to celebrate that theme with some cool merch. So many companies are thinking about these things. How do we, again, how are we going to invoke our new strategy for the new year, our new vision for our team? How do we recognize our employees? How do we make our live events a success? So when I say think bigger, how can you develop other sales opportunities from that client? You must solicit, what are your other needs? Where do branded products make sense to help leverage your marketing initiatives? So by go big, don't settle for just one sales opportunity. Dig in to see how you can provide value in other regards. All right, so making progress here before my time runs short and before I pass the baton. I want to make a point about how to use online stores to really best execute these gift giving programs. So we all know the value of online stores, right? And we know how important they are today, given so many consumers are at home. Anybody can purchase from an online store and then get those goods delivered, right? And we've all heard the stories about the demand that Amazon has had and the growth Amazon and other e-tailers have experienced during COVID, right? People that have never had groceries delivered to them before had groceries delivered. So e-commerce has accelerated. So I'm not going to talk about the virtues of online stores because now I think there's a general consensus and agreement that online stores are an excellent way to serve sales opportunities. But in particular, if you launch an online corporate gift-giving store using InkSoft, there's two super important features to execute these programs. And let me kind of set up the context here. If I receive a gift from my employer or from maybe a vendor, and the gift is, hey, you can get access to these really cool gift kits, but you need to choose your garment size, maybe the preference you have with color or style, or the preference you have for the kit that's being made available to you. So typically these programs, from an analog perspective, is I would get a gift shipped to me, right? But what if my vendor or maybe my employer doesn't know my apparel size? It's hard to execute that without knowing that information up front. So think about an online store provides great context because it lets the consumer make those decisions on their behalf. But the reality is the consumer's not going to use a debit card or a credit card to pay for those goods, given that it's a gift. So the two ways that you have, or the two options you have to execute these gift-giving programs, is via a promo code, which would allow a consumer to enter in a special code that would trigger a discount in the shopping cart. The other condition that a lot of employers will prefer is the issuance of a gift certificate. So of course, we're talking about gift-giving programs. If an employer can send their employees or their vendors or customers a gift certificate, which can be used to redeem really cool branded merchandise and gift kits from a website, it allows that consumer to redeem either a promo code or a gift certificate to monetize, or rather transact, so they don't have to come out of pocket. The real currency here is going to be the gift certificate that will mediate, or the promo code. So using InkSoft, you can configure a unique array of promo codes. Can only be used once per customer. You can handle promo codes to automate. So I could say this promo code will provide $100 discount in the shopping cart. It includes shipping. It can only be used once, per customer. So again, you can trigger some automation. You can put in restrictions to make sure that it doesn't get abused or distributed in the wrong way. Whereas a gift certificate, you can issue a gift certificate in advance by bulk. So let's say the employer says, hey, we're going to send you a spreadsheet with 1,000 employees. Each employee will receive a $100 voucher towards use of a gift. you can issue 1,000 gift certificates through InkSoft, and that electronic gift certificate will be sent uniquely to each recipient. And their gift certificate will be unique. And again, it will stand as unique currency. And there's a lot of upside to using gift certificates, being as you can generate reports to see open balances, to find out who hasn't redeemed. So you can report that back and convert that to a single invoice to get paid from that corporate client. So on screen, you see in the order summary, you see where there's the ability to apply a gift coupon, discount code, promo code, or a gift certificate, and apply to redeem that against the order. Now, a few other things I want to point out here before we transition away from my part of the presentation is I want to show you quickly, let me make sure you folks can see this on screen. What we want to talk about is, as we talk about being proactive in the sales tips, right? So proactive means you need to get out to market and show companies and organizations what you're capable of doing, giving ideas. And so the best way to do that is to use InkSoft proposals to organize maybe different logoed and branded, gift sets and kits that you want to present to an organization to win their business. And of course, we all know the value of a virtual sample compared to a blank good. You're going to be much more effective presenting, hey, here's your corporate identity on an array of products that we think would be great for gift-giving programs, and then presenting that via an InkSoft proposal. Now, of course, the other opportunity that a lot of InkSoft customers will prefer versus a proposal is they'll actually build an online store. So using InkSoft, it's so fast to build an online store. You can actually present an online store to a corporate decision maker, and you can show them your capabilities and your product ideas and suggestions in context. Hey, we offer free branded online stores to handle all of the transacting for this gift-giving program. Here's what your store would look like or looks like. So I think, using an online store to present to your client establishes a great deal of context. It allows you the entrance and really the permission to talk about, hey, we offer a turnkey end-to-end corporate gift-giving program. We even offer you a free branded online store where your employees, customers, vendors, and partners can redeem these branded gifts. So your choice between a proposal just to get the conversation started, it might be the way to present and just get your foot in the door. So you can simply do that with again, you can choose to use a proposal to present that, or you can present that on an actual online store. The choice is entirely yours. All right, so at this point, I'm now going to turn over the presentation to Stefan, who's going to take over and dig into all things related to product. So with that said, let me stop sharing my screen, and I'll then turn it controls over. We'll sort of do a little transition here. So give me 1 second to change screens, and we'll go ahead and get underway. All right, we've changed hosts. So by all means, Mr. Bear, take it over.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. I'm just going to get the screen share going here.
Pretty cool virtual background there. I like it.
I like it. All right. JP, am I good there?
Yep, we can see your screen in good order.
Fantastic. So
before you get on, I think you're in presentation mode with your PowerPoint.
Oh, good. Let's switch that. I know how to do that. Boy, I'm on fire here. How's that now?
Perfect.
Much better. Well, I wanted to take this moment and thank InkSoft and JP for putting this together and inviting S&S Activewear on. So what I'm going to do in the later half here is kind of shift gears a little bit, and my presentation is going to be coming straight at the salesperson. So, S&S partnering up with the distributor and then going after the end user. So looking at that, just wanted to do a quick overview. It's kind of a recap of the global view JP offered of corporate gifting. I just want to reiterate, this just provides an excellent opportunity for you to work with your customers on the company's solutions, the messaging of their end user that they're trying to achieve, and then really jump into the values of that end user, right? And what they want to put together. It just offers you, just a great, unique ability to add and contribute to the overall morale of the company. Because gifting becomes a personal thing as the individual opens, whether it's a gift box or receives the item. You want to make that connection. So well thought out planning will allow you to touch so many different sides of the customer's business and get to know your customer better. So, one of the point number 10 on JP's presentation was think bigger. This is really a great opportunity to kind of dive in with not only the end user, but to, let your creativity shine as a salesperson and solidify your partnership to create that future business. The work you do to, take the steps to put together the right corporate gift or the right corporate gift program will put all your solution-based, ideas in full display. So again, it just creates just this great platform for your customer to see. And, it just opens up so many different opportunities. So moving forward, put together some key points to establish. And, this would be, your first phone call, your first meeting, right? These are items that you really have to get on the table. And they're not in any particular order, but this is what you want to achieve with that customer to get the proper corporate gifting program underway. And the number one thing is timeline. Define the program's timeline, but in this day and age, have backup options. And we'll get more into that in the next slide. But, that being said, be upfront with your customer on, the current industry's timeline. Like, how are the decorators working that you use? How are the inventory positions in, your large offering? Map it out for the customer. Be prepared. So, with COVID, we've been over it a million times. We've all lived it. We're living in it now. Shipping challenges coming up in this fourth quarter. We face them nationwide. So next stage is really do your research and come prepared and, to really learn, but have something backing it up so you can drive those key questions to get the overall scope of the demographics of the company, what divisions there are, where's the geographical landscape, are they nationwide, are they regional, right? And then start introducing what emotion is that company trying to express through a future gift, right? It's, if it's a thank you for sticking through this hard year of 2020, try to get the feel of what that company's been through. What steps did they take? So you can start creating that emotional connection between, in our case, apparel with that employee base. It may even be jumping into their mission statements. A lot of companies this year have revisited their mission statement. They've pivoted to make their companies work through these hard times. And some are coming out with a complete new mission statement, right? A new business strategy. So how do you capitalize on that by, showing that through the gift? And then, of course, the almighty budget, right? Is, how can you establish the potential spend up front so you can plan accordingly, right? From the get-go. Once you have the idea of the budget, then you have something to work with, right? Ask who the players are that are making these decisions. Is it coming down from senior management? Is it the human resources department? Are regional managers in charge of that? And then, start peeling that onion back and looking at, what regional manager, for instance, what region are they in? There's different tastes, there's different seasons there. So you're developing your proposal right now. And then the biggest point from a supplier perspective is stay in touch with your supplier. Sample those key players that are making the decisions. So if you're introducing something, as JP mentioned, an introduction of a retail brand may be out of the norm for them, but they have their ear open to it. But a key sample to the key person, you put it on that person, they wear it, you test some employees in the office saying, hey, what do you think of this? And they see the reaction, that budget may go up. So it's a key strategy to use there. The scope of your product choices, we're going to really dive into that at the tail end, is I suggest you really take a deep dive into the culture of the company. Again, it was mentioned before, is it fitness oriented? Are they outdoor enthusiasts? What is the culture of the company? Is it, do they all come together? Has this made them tighter? And in what ways? So ask those questions because, you're building a program to be successful. And then most important, establish the geography. We've seen it way too many times where the headquarters is in the northern part of the U.S. and they're doing a jacket program, but the bulk of the employees are in the Sun Belt. So all of a sudden they get a down jacket from Columbia and they're, still sitting in 70 degrees, and whether it's San Diego or Miami. So been there, done that one. So look at the geography of the company. And, are there specific products needed to make up a new uniform approach? This is an excellent way to start that co-branding message because you can provide a uniform and a gift at the same time. Because it's branded and it is a retail brand name, the employee receives it as a gift, but then utilizes it day to day and even on the weekends because it's so cool as a representation of the company. So jumping into kind of a fine-tuning timelines. So timelines now, they're kind of open, right? And I say kind of because everybody has a hard deadline, but you may want to consider offering, like many people do, and we've all done it with holiday cards. All of a sudden, the holiday card, kids aren't ready, family isn't ready, you postpone, and all of a sudden you have a Happy New Year card. That can apply itself here, is maybe there is a kickoff to 2021. There's a lot of companies that would like to do nothing more than put 2020 behind them. So introduce that thought. We also, in our industry, there's all the trade shows. They're going to some virtual platform. So look at the companies that, used to use that as an incentive trip to get out to, let's say in our industry with PPAI, a lot of companies built that as, hey, this is a reward. We're going out to the show together as a team. And so now you have that budget to replace it with a nice gifting opportunity to send a different message that the company has going into 2021. Again, keeping morale up. Consider a broader approach and a pitch to a quarterly plan of gifting. This is also something that's come across a lot of our tables is, hey, I want to build quarter by quarter something that keeps the employee engaged. And so put that on the table. Focus on product launches and initiatives that have been pushed into 2021. So you take some companies that had a product launch, it was teed up, but it just wasn't the right time because businesses are, just opening up. Ask those questions, find out what that is. Maybe that gifting can surround that. And, you look at the automotive industry, right? They want to get their employees just as jacked up on the new GMC electric Hummer that's coming out. They can put together gifts around that to keep people engaged. So, keep that as an option. And then motivational plans for focusing on health and growth. Health has become, in the forefront of everybody. A lot of companies have gotten together. They've started virtual, training programs, fitness programs, yoga. Health is at top of mind. Create gifts around that. And then growth is, we're starting from zero, right? We're reopening. So what are the growth plans there, and what kind of gifts can surround that? And then, as we mentioned earlier, messaging. So it's so important to establish the persona of a company, because once you get that persona, you can start matching up, in S&S's case, brands. There's certain brands that reach certain demographics. Let our sales division help you make those connections, right? And then also ask the question of, what's the lifestyle outside of work? Because, with so many people now working from home, a lot of those lifestyles are coming to the forefront. So capitalizing also on new culture that's been created through these times. Everybody is taking an all hands on deck, build gifts around that. A lot of companies have taken a look at how sustainable are they, and they've made moves to become more sustainable. S&S has a whole product selection that can tap into that messaging. Revisit the company's mission statement, and then plan to re-engage the employee, right? With that new mission statement that you're fine-tuning. And then you have packaging. So gifts now that come in the mail are an absolute joy when that doorbell rings. Take advantage of that. Spend a little extra time on putting the gifts that you're putting together, the items, how you've merchandised it, in some nice packaging. And, because when that employee opens it, that's when they see the package, that's when the appreciation starts. So great way to really drive that through. Then unique decoration. So a lot of people are now, with the Zoom culture, unique decoration on the collar in apparel, on the shoulder seam, or making the decoration a little bit more subtle to where the product, the gift in this case, right, is leading, and the company takes second fiddle and has a unique location of decoration, but they can always reference that to know where they got it. So another tip there. And then to jump in a little bit more on budget, this is where you really want to be prepared. Have your ideas already set up for each budget range that you may run into. It may be, have a low range, mid-tier, high, and then create your super package. I mean, you have nothing to lose because the preparation will show, and you know when to cut it off. If you're, if low is too low and they want a little bit more, all of a sudden you're getting more of the messaging involved. You may go into the premium tier. So but being prepared and having those stories ready and examples ready and decorated examples with that company's logo already on it, it's a home run. So we're going to talk about introducing a wide range of bundles that are priced out already. So, it gets those ideas going. So it's one after the other. And they say, no, yeah, a little bit of this, a little more of that. It could really work in your benefit. And then again, discovery on the company, the research that you do, the more you know about that company, the better you will be and the more impressive you will be as you go in and say, hey, I saw that you guys are opening up in the Western United States, or, hey, I understand you're launching this new product. I saw it on your website. Wow, that looks fun. What can we do for that? Right? Again, we're focused on gifting here, but now you're planting the seed to open up the entire next year, because they may not realize, because they're so focused on gifting, that, oh my God, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, you can help me with that too. It's like, whoo, create the light bulb effect, right? And then, JP mentioned this in his slides, is, have a resume of success stories, have that storytelling capability, be prepared to share the potential emotional return on investment. Like, if you have an example of what a company did that you've dealt with before and provided services for, and how that boosted morale in the company, how these people are not only wearing it to work, but they don't run to their car to change. They're going straight to happy hour, straight, to a family function or a church function with the logoed merchandise because they're so proud, right? That's an emotional return on investment. So moving forward, now we jump into product. So, everybody knows bundles. Bundles have really resurfaced as a great way to get things going again. I love bundles in this situation with corporate gifting because it creates the idea, it paves that road to start the conversation and get more information, right? And it allows you to start feeling where that spend may be, or where you may have to up the spend, or you can add and delete once you start introducing bundles, because you can get the taste of what they're looking for. So again, start with the basics and build up. The more you present, the more it plays into future programs. So we're going to go through some of those examples. So co-branded uniform. So this is an opportunity we've seen a lot of people have success with, is you're building employee trust through trusted retail brands, right? Trusted brands that match the persona of the company, but it becomes a uniform piece. So if you're in a cold weather area, having one of our Columbia down jackets and puffer jackets, or it could be a rain jacket branded with that company, but it accompanies them from when they have to run from the car to the office door, but they're in a watertight Columbia jacket, and they can take it off and their shirt looks completely dry. That's what I'm talking about, a co-branded uniform. We've seen it a lot. Another example would be, we did a program with Cadillac dealers where on Saturdays and Sundays they went head to toe Adidas, and it was a trusted brand with the Cadillac logo. The sales teams and the finance teams that were ready for the weekend business felt more premium. It boosted their sales confidence because they looked down, they saw the Adidas performance logo, and they said, wow, my dealership is taking care of me with this trusted brand. And they felt good. So some of the selling categories, which we'll jump into: branded outerwear, branded bags, branded apparel. So we have all those options for you. Then I put in here uniqueness. So this is when you take that deep dive and create a culture of the company. You have a full understanding. Here's where you can start introducing unique items that become perfect matches for that company culture, right? As a gift. So one of the key new exclusive brands we have is Quick Flip. It's fun. It is an outerwear piece that you can turn inside out, and it becomes a fully functional backpack. So, we have officers already signing up because it's a unique gift. They do relay races on who can do it faster. And like I said, it is a fully functional backpack. Again, you're trying to get that unique product that defines the employee. We can help you find that match. And so we're going to run through some of those ideas as well. So looking at all these, this is just, again, I wanted to take it from a more sales approach of creating ideas and how you can sit down with that customer to get this important information out so you can build the right program. So we had mentioned bundles. So, talking about starting from the basics and building up. This is just a simple run through. You'll see that they're just simple. So this is a fashion bundle. So, by creating a bundle, you're creating, in this case, 4 options that customer can say, hey, really like the hat, really like the t-shirt. I'm going to do those 2, or I'm going to do all 4. In this case, we've included a mask because, we're still in that stage. Masks are everywhere. So why not throw that in a bundle as an option? So here is a fashion bundle where we have, the number 1 selling Richardson cap, the 112, number 1 selling fashion tee, 3001. So these are all your great sellers, all bundled into one, and create a net cost for that. So example of rugged. So if it's, more of a mountainous, company, that loves outdoor lifestyle, they like the earth tones, build that bundle for them, right? Construction. So here you're building out a nice look, different PPE option, a heavyweight tee, a cooler bag, fleece options. Here's you start introducing color, and more fashion oriented. Surf, coastal companies. So, we go into fitness, building little fitness bundles. So this is where you establish a company-wide program with incentives to get healthier in life. So provide them with a gift or a bundle to get them started, right? Athleisure. So this is, looking at an athleisure bundle. Here we're focused on Adidas. You have a men's sport shirt, women's quarter zip, headwear piece, an easy cinch bag, right? Premium. So it just goes on and on. So bundles, again, use bundles to your advantage to not only establish price point, but ideas of where that customer really wants to go. Because they're dependent on the salesperson bringing their preparation, their ideas to start formulating that program. So this is a great, incredible, awesome, I've got so many words for it, but holiday trend guide that our marketing department put together. And this now is something you can take in once you've established where the persona and of the company is and where their spend is and what direction they want to go. This is an excellent guide to start putting some ideas together, because this now gives you a variety of brands, a variety of styles that you can look at and really start drilling down with your customer. This is an eco-conscious fashion slide. So these are, we've moved into great selections. We have selections in the sustainability category, starts with Hanes, moves into alternative, next level. Then on the premium upper tier, you have Adidas. Adidas is introducing product now that they're using 100% recycled polyester. So a true advantage to, if your company is becoming more sustainable, why not introduce gifts that are sustainable as well to start selling that message through and how you're moving forward. The outdoor enthusiast, again, large selections, everything from Columbia, Dry Dock. We've got bags. Sportsman, year after year, brings us new scarves, new beanies. Richardson has brought in a new beanie line. weatherproof, more fashion. So, boxer craft, there's things for men's, ladies, youth. We can start peeling this all out slide after slide. The cozy selection, right? So you've got a lot of different fabrications in here. Big trend this year is the inside out. So, for J America, it's the flip side. Blankets, are huge this time of year, especially. It's a great gift to give because who can't use a blanket? And they're not all by 50 by 60, which used to be the industry standard. Now they're getting bigger. So let our sales division help you find all these items. Then we move into, traditional company store items. So again, let us help you merchandise your mission, whether it's by color, by brand, by style, by fabrication. We can merchandise all those things together for you. Accessories. So when you look at the bag market, right, we're traditionally, this is the time of year and we're still doing a ton of backpacks, but we've also noticed a rise in sales on the smaller bags. So you have your hip bags, AKA the fanny pack, right? Columbia has a new sling bag. Oakley has a new travel pouch that is a complete utility. It can be used everything from toiletries, makeup, to a snack bag or a bag to hold your electronics. But the cinch sacks, you look at Quick Flip up here in the corner. This is the outerwear piece that once you turn it inside out and stuff it in here, it becomes a fully functional backpack. People are using these smaller items because it's more now about running to and from the office, from home, or running errands, and having an item that you can have your mask in, your hand sanitizer, and the list goes on. But smaller bags are trending up. And then, of course, the bigger bags, they're always moving through at S&S. Then you look at, again, I touched on merchandising. Let us help you merchandise. This is more of a family slide, but you can ask our sales team, how do I put together a complete package? This is an example using a family approach, right? You have the youth, the toddler, you can put a full color spectrum together in all these lines. And then last but not least, you can capitalize on the company's color scheme, right? Ask them for their brand guidelines. Always great to have, especially for future business. Look at their colorways. Look how many different colors you can bring. But colors for us is a great way to introduce on-trend items. So if you feel like the end user is having a little pushback, that's too trendy, bring their company color into that equation and give them that trend piece in their company color. And you'll see that there's a little bit more of a relaxed feel to the meeting. So again, we live in a digital world. Throw it up there. And here are just some more colors, just more and more examples. So that is what I have today. And again, let us know any questions that you have. We love getting involved any way we can. As a supplier, we know that with 69 brands at S&S, you need to navigate those. And so let our awesome sales division navigate that with you. And, we're happy to go and do calls with the end user, with the distributor, of course, and go in and really sell. Let us be the brand rep and come in and put together these packages with you. So we're super excited. Great to be on this call. So I will turn it back to JP.
All right, perfect. I appreciate the insights. I wrote down a ton of notes, and I, in particular, really appreciate the example, the Cadillac and Adidas relationship there. That's a pretty amazing example of the power of brand and So anyway, I want to thank you, Stefan, for sharing all your insights. That was amazing. Tons of nuggets there. What I want to do now, I'm going to take over the screen, and we got a lot of questions about where the heck can I access the marketing kit and the insights that relate to this webinar and this program that we've been talking about. So I want to point out, if you go to inksoft.com, and as I'll navigate here just to show you, and you click resources, here you'll end up at our blog. And of course, you can click on marketing kits, and that's where you can access all of the marketing kits that we have produced. And of course, the topmost is this corporate gift giving program. And I want to point out that you can click to register for the marketing kit. And when we say marketing kit, what we've done, we've turned our marketing team loose on creating marketing messaging that you can use to immediately take to market via email, through website copy, social media messaging. So really, we've already produced the right messaging with invoking the emotion that Stefan talked about, a way to articulate why gift giving is such an important thing now, and the different sort of themes that can be selected from. So our advice is certainly take a look at this marketing kit, and you can make it yours. So feel free to modify and use it as a starting point, or feel free to copy paste and go. So I think that's going to help you quickly, get out there and message your clients via email, social, and engage them to really create awareness that you offer these programs and give some nuance. Now, I also want to point out in this kit, we're going to embed the video of today's webinar here. So you can go back to this single place to find the video. And there was a request to get the presentations that we displayed in the webinar. So we'll see about combining those to make those available as well. But I also want to point out that we did, in fact, embed the S&S Activewear kit that shows all the different products that they're suggesting. So make sure to access this trend kit, and this will give you a sense of the different themes and kind of support some of the sales insights that Stefan shared with us today. So one place to get access to everything necessary to go to market in a strong way with corporate gift giving. So this is the point in the webinar. Given we have 2 minutes left, we're going to field any open questions that you may have. So if you defer to the Zoom control panel, there's the Q&A function. Feel free to type in a question, and I'll come back and read the question aloud, and I'll delegate the question if it's appropriate for Stefan to answer. I'll put him on the spot and make him answer it. How about that? So again, if you refer to the Q&A function, if there's any remaining questions, we will share those with you. Let's see. I think I addressed all of the questions here about where do we access. So again, if you go to inksoft.com, and if you click on resources from the top navigation, and there select marketing kits, and you can see our entire library of marketing kits. And what you can expect from these is they're by theme. So if you want to do an employee recognition program, or order fulfillment programs, or selling to schools and doing fundraising programs, we have all these kits that effectively we've written all the professional marketing copy, and we give you the playbook and the strategy, and we're going to continue to turn these out. And in fact, I'm going to ask Stefan to participate in the future on some other themes, given he has such a wealth of knowledge here. So that's where you can access marketing kits. Well, alrighty, folks, we are coming on. I want to be mindful and respectful of Stefan's time. So we are at the end of today's webinar. We're going to go ahead and produce this and get it live. Again, embed this in the marketing kit itself, so you can go back and refer to this. We'll send off an email that will give you access to the video as soon as it is, in fact, produced. So just want to thank 2 more points of gratitude. Again, thanks to our friends at S&S Activewear for helping supporting this marketing kit and backing it with their product suggestions and recommendations. We've actually built a sample online store that commemorates some of those themes that are in that lookbook. So this link is also available in the marketing kit. So if you want to see how to present some of these products and how they look, sort of decorated and embellished, we created a hypothetical example of a company store. So make sure to defer to that. So again, thanks to our friends at S&S Activewear, thanks to Stefan, and thanks for all of you for taking time to participate today. Our hope is always that you take away one. And in this case, I think there's a tremendous amount of nuggets that you can take and implement into your sales and marketing practices to get value. So we look forward to our next event together. So stay tuned for announcements on future webinars and marketing kits in the InkSoft newsletter. All right, all. Well, have a great rest of your day, and be safe and be healthy, and look forward to convening again in the not so distant future.